That was such an interesting movie because we see a main character do something that does not make sense. The 30 to 40 more years that he gets, and he can spend that two different ways. The first way, he stays in Cuba, soaks in every moment he can with his loving family, basks in this new revolution, and enjoys this paradise that he's been born into. The second option, and this is the one that he chooses, he instead spends the remaining time he has pretending to defect. He's despised by his family, his children, most of his countrymen. He then comes to America, struggles as a newcomer to America, lives a stressful and chaotic life as a double agent, and then is arrested and locked up for over a decade as a spy. Now, what rational person, cognizant of the fact you only get one life to live, weighing out the pros and cons, would choose option 2? It just does not make sense. It's not rational. And that's why I think the second last scene of the movie, where he's with his wife and she's saying, look, all your countrymen, they testified against you. Just testify against them. It does not make sense to sacrifice so much for them when they were in the position to sacrifice for you and they didn't. They turned on you. And he says, look, if they want to turn on me, that's them. But for me, I can't do that to my country, and I can't do that to my countrymen. Even if my countrymen, they just did that to me in the exact same situation. And it just shows that for him, he's dealing on just a whole nother plane. For him, his love of country, his sense of duty and honor takes on a kind of spiritual dimension and goes far beyond anything that can be logically or rationally explained. And it's so striking to see. Imagine loving anything that much. Imagine loving your country that much. It's almost incomprehensible. I think for a lot of people watching in North America, as a lot of people watching Netflix are, it's almost as incomprehensible as the language they're speaking, as the foreign language. And that's why these international movies can be interesting, because you're not only exposed to different languages and cultures and places, you're exposed to whole different value systems that can't even really be captured when you try to use English words. So if you say sacrifice your freedom, your marriage, relationship with your kids, sacrifice your reputation, sacrifice everything to prevent plots against your homeland, potentially, you don't even know if you're going to be able to prevent any. You can't even conceptualize it or capture it. But that's what movies and art can do. It can capture these values and these choices and these lives in a way that maybe talking about it with words, you just can't. And this wasn't some kooky character cooked up in a writing room somewhere. No, he was one of 5 people called the Cuban 5, and he was a real person, and this is how he chose to live his life. And we all only get one thing, really. We get to choose how we want to spend our life. And it's always interesting to see how other people, sometimes people very different from us, with very different backgrounds and very different value systems, see how they choose to live theirs.